do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
Well, g'day, folks. How are you? Hope you're having a good night. Now, I'm just having a bit of a check to see, yes, there is a little bouncing audio thing. I didn't hear anything on my open, which was a bit weird. But it might be because at the moment, I'm not working out of a normal space, so to speak. So I've had to pack everything up from where I was in the bush because tomorrow is New Awning Day. I think we've only been waiting since October last year for this to happen. Actually, I'm being unfair. That is being unfair. It got wrecked in October last year. The people who are doing the fix-it on it couldn't see it until February to do a quote on it and decide whether or not it needed to be replaced or it was just a roll. And then they decided after about 10 seconds of looking at it that it needed to be replaced completely and said, see you in June. So it's like nearly a year. But I'm going to go and get a new awning tomorrow. So depending on whether or not they let me close to it, I might try and show you how they fit that. I haven't got the vaguest idea. It could be a little bit intriguing. It might be boring as bat too. So I might just address some of the hats that I've got to send off. Thank you to everybody who has bought a hat to I call her Joan of Arc. That's short for. So to help out Joan, I'm madly addressing and sending hats. Not so much as we speak, but yesterday was spent doing that for a fair part, as well as God, when you set this thing up right, and I've been set up now for say 3 weeks in it, it's amazing how much stuff you find that you have to either find a new home for, or you've got to put away because you can't travel with it out. Particularly with a vehicle like this, it's got this couch thing that sort of expands out. Nothing can be in this space, so it's got to be able to move close again. So it was a bit of a challenge, I would say. I've got a whole heap of stuff that never made it back in here, and a whole heap of stuff that did make it out. So that's a bit of a benefit. But after we've got ourselves sorted with a new awning, a new campsite will be in order, and we'll figure our life out from there. It'll be most interesting. DM was first in tonight. Good to have you in. Also, Paul, Rachel, hope things are going well in Tasmania. You folks are going to be in for a bloody cold few days. In fact, I think I saw parts of Tasmania, Western Victoria, we'll just call it Victoria, and South Australia are in for a freezing time. Winds direct from the Antarctic, so not really strangers to that at the end of the day. Hello to my good mate Black Sheep, who's down that way too, and trust you'll be rugging up, buddy. And speaking of Black Sheep, now he sent me another interesting little thing. Somebody was asking in the chat there a little while back, or on one of the videos, about EMF monitors. I showed one that costs about $350. This one does not cost about $350, and it seems, for all intents and purposes, to turn on. Oh, move it that way. Maybe if I light off, does that work? Go that way. No, it doesn't really work. It's right. So that's showing 0 readings on anything at the moment. And if I hit the mode button, it gives me temperature. So at the moment, that's the temperature inside here. I don't think that's right somehow. So I've got to find the only thing Blake Sheep didn't send me was the instruction manual. So there are a couple of modes. There is a light on and off, and then there is something called hold, and I can't read the other without a bit more light. I'm very sorry. So something worth playing around with, and I have had a bit of a play. I have had readings on it where I've got up close to modems and that kind of thing. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what sort of readings I get tomorrow because the place I'm going to has a mobile phone tower attached to the front of it. So we'll see what sort of readings we get out of that. Paul's in the room too, talking about Mr. Mosley. Yes, well, we're going to talk about Mr. Mosley, uh, the good doctor. Didn't take his phone. Was it jabbery? Well, there is talk that it's a bit more than jabbery, I think, Paul. Um, one of those uh, one of those deaths that's going to come across as uh, of natural causes. But seriously, 5 days he was, sitting on the other side of a fence near a cafe. Nobody smelt him in 40-degree heat in 5 days. And it is Greece. Um, so, however, there are a few interesting things about him. So, British television journalist, producer, presenter, writer, working for the BBC from 1985 until his death. Now, he was born in Calcutta. He attended a boarding school in England from the age of 7. Studied philosophy, politics, economics, and a few other bits and pieces. The interesting thing for me is that Michael Mosley, while he studied uh, and passed the medicine board, he or the medical exam, he never ever, near as I can tell here, a doctor. He went straight into television, working as a producer, and eventually wound up being involved with, well, start with what his father was doing. His father was a banker in India. Uh, Before he studied medicine, he was working for the City of London. He'd studied philosophy, politics, economics at Oxford, and he was working in the City of London. Then decided to move into medicine, to become a psychiatrist, studied at the Royal Free Hospital, became disillusioned with psychiatry after placement in a specialty during his degree course and decided not to practice medicine after passing his final examinations in 1985. Now, I would say that while you have the qualifications, you may not decide to practice, but I'm wondering whether or not you still get access or are able to write scripts. I know certainly in the case of Australia, it is possible for you to write certain scripts. I don't know if it's all all of them, like heavy opioid type medications, that kind of thing. I'm not quite sure if that's correct or not, but yeah. Spring Tree, yes, very sad news about Dazelle. Um, that news coming out yesterday, of course. Very sad news, and I haven't been made aware of any details of a service coming up, but as soon as I am, I'll let you guys know too. Very sad. Put up a hell of a battle, young Dazelle. So, yeah, very, very sad indeed. Uh, Donna, anyone else think it's ridiculous that they're now talking about the chemicals in the water causing cancer in time to cover stats for the shot? Well, I would go so far as to say that there's a lot of things being in the water. I mean, those of us who didn't have the Jiminy Jab are in all likelihood going to have a lot of this technology inside us anyway, because it has been raining down on us for years, and it's almost at a subatomic level. It could be just sucked in through anything, through everything, uh, everything we eat, everything as it's growing, it gets absorbed by the things that we then go and eat. Uh, that starts at the grass and works its way out. Starts at the vegetables and works its way out from there into all of us. So it's in us all, and maybe detoxing is something that you might like to think about. And there are a number of exceptionally good detoxes available at the moment. And I would suggest if you are going to do a detox, do the whole thing, do a parasitic one as well. And I won't mention them because I'll get banned. But I think you know the kinds of things you can go and check out, including the horse paste. Uh, the horse, the horse paste. Uh, that is very, very functional for human beings as well. I won't name it, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, just having a look down the hill. Donna, still can't believe Dan Andrews got an award. Yeah, yeah. I would think that the person who nominated him should be put up against the wall and shown the error of their ways. I suspect that the person who did nominate him is probably him or someone very close to him who now isn't in there, but got paid off very well. What a great, great human being that Dan Andrews prick was. God. Well, there's only one hope, I think, going forward, Donna, and that's that they put a statue up on him of him, and they put it somewhere, maybe in the King's Domain, that beautiful bit of the gardens near the shrine, and not only birds can come along and shit on it, but we, the people, can have a go at it too. I think that would be a very wonderful thing. I'm just scanning down, have a bit of a look at a Murray River. Michelle Bradley Smith in the house. Lovely to have you too, Sunflower. I don't know that I have seen you pop in. Um, G'day, Phil. Liberty Mate or Liability Mate? Yes. Now, isn't it interesting that there are so many new studies coming out that are backing up the tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists' theories of a few short years ago. It's amazing the level of research now available that simply couldn't be done before. Well, it couldn't be done because there was none of the research, but none of these people stood up and yelled. Maybe they did. Maybe they were shouted down. Interesting now that they are allowed to conduct these studies and they're doing so openly and en masse. There are university studies happening right through Australia and I believe across the world. In fact, there have been some big studies released in Europe. One of those studies suggests 35 million people are already not on this planet anymore. So, because of this farce, because of this horrendous attack on humanity, is the only way we can describe it, because that's what it is, an attack on humanity. Donald Trump was recently asked whether or not he would have a go at Hillary Clinton, why he didn't lock her up, as the chant was when he was made president in 2016. He said he did think about doing it, but thought it was being a bit disingenuous. Certainly there were crimes committed and they could prove those crimes, but he thought it was a pretty bad look. Now Hillary seems to be sticking her heads up again. I'm not sure if it's Hillary. Doesn't look anything like her, if I'm honest. Pardon me, and I haven't had time to download the video, but I'm sure you can find it. There are some, well, there is a video of her popping up now saying that consideration needs to be given to who's going to run for the Democrats uh, in November of this year, because it looks like good old Joe, who I'm not completely sure, but I think may have shit himself on stage in France beside Macron recently. If he did, well, from my recollection of France, nobody really noticed. However, that's being a bit disingenuous too, especially to Macron, who's for some reason called a snap election, and that election is going to happen in two parts, as only the French can. Now, I want to say the last time I remember a French election happening, there was a female of the right who was very, very strong and somehow didn't win. Macron and his boyfriend, girl thing, whatever it is, got in. Now, his Rothschild, that's what I should call it. That's his Rothschild. Uh, I want to say that there is a chance that the right may come back very strongly in France. The reason he called this election was because they have taken over the EU Parliament. There was a big election, and the far right, as they're calling it, have swept aside many, many, many seats of the left in there. So he sees it now as writing on the wall, I think, for France, and he is going to put it to the people. So I believe it's end of the month, and then 7th of July will be the second election date. They have two rounds of elections. I'm not sure why. Interesting that people would want to roll themselves out twice over 2 weekends for this bullshit to elect these people who do nothing but tax us and make life hard, make decisions that affect us, but not so much them. Make politically expedient decisions without questioning the more broader ramifications of those decisions and the consequences of them. Well, I hope the French people can come up with a better excuse than Mr. Macron for what he's doing. Speaking of speaking with a French accent, I haven't seen Veronique in a while. I do hope that she's okay. Black Sheep has hit the room. Nice to see you in there, brother. Having a bit of a scan down. G'day, Scotty. Hope you're all right. I was going to say Emerald. 6 degrees in Emerald tonight. I could have beaten that the other night up in the hills. It was nearing 2 degrees. I was under a doona and then under 2 layers of a very large sleeping bag. And even then, it was still a bit cold. Just before dawn. Always, always coldest just before dawn. Yes, I think EMF is near just about every electronic device. Right, which makes me think that I need the instructions. Because when I turn this on, uh, I'm getting an average. That's a 1 point or a 0.00. And you can see that. Tilt. Maybe it's because I've got the screen on. Turn it that way. Yes, don't know that you can see that. Sorry about that. But as I hold it near the oh, interesting. So that is as I move this down to the keyboard, and the figure I'm getting is 2.2. 2.2. I've got it up to 3.1. I've seen it though. That's probably a very annoying beeping noise for you. Uh, so there you go. I have the mobile phone. I do have Black Sheep EMF protection Milo tin over there, but I can't quite reach it at the moment. So try with this. Oh, I don't know if you can see. There is a little light. Oh, it was going off. Oh, now it is. I'm going to show you. There you go. So it is reading something. 0.2, 0.19. So not high, but certainly emitting. Uh, Interesting little tool for a variety of things, can I just say? A variety of things. So go and check them out. EMF tools. That one's not got a brand on it, but I do thank Black Sheep for sending it my way. I will find now that I've figured out halfway how to use it. We're getting there. Le Pen, that's the one. Yeah, that was the EU election, and I think she was the one that the French people may hope to have as a prime minister. Maybe not, but certainly from the EU, if she's working from there, that'll work out very nicely indeed. Um, wow. Denise, does anyone remember when it used to snow in Heidelberg? Okay, so I've never heard of it snowing in Heidelberg. Dandenongs, yes, and Ballarat, absolutely. Uh, Macedon, Gisborne. I don't think I've ever heard of it snowing in Heidelberg. Well, not unless somebody's cocaine deal went badly wrong. But possible. Um, there's a couple of comments there. Thank you, Murray. Looks like he died of heat stroke. Yes, that certainly does seem that way. Michelle Bradley Smith says that he was a pusher of the pointy thing and talked about young blood for the brain. That's very interesting. Um, Remember, all is not necessarily as it seems, folks. Jack, it would answer the question as to why he wasn't found for 5 days. Um, G'day, Sab. Hope you're doing well. Uh, okay. Pete, what are you up to as a refrigeration mechanic? Trade school, the lecturers warned us to limit exposure to EMF on electric motors, cables, and microwaves, and don't look at LEDs. Yes, I've heard don't look at LEDs as well, regardless of the size. That really screws you up, though, when you've got a television made up of hundreds of thousands of bastards. It makes it very hard not to look at LEDs. Okay. Thank you very much, Aussie Sue. Yes, please do remember to like and share, folks. Vince has made a video available, I think, on VOFHQ on the YouTube channel there and on FBN Media's YouTube channel that will show you how you can actually find the like button. It's hiding underneath the chat screen. It's an interesting new thing they've done to make that hard. The original Doctor Who cast actor died, the school teacher bloke. Okay, so Paul, I don't know how far you go back, but the original Doctor that I sort of I don't remember, but, uh, cool gee. Well, okay, the original Doctor, I think, was 2 before John Pertwee. I can't remember the name of the dark-haired fella that played Doctor Who before John Pertwee, or the name of the bloke who played Doctor Who and the dark-haired bloke turned into when they regenerated. Uh, but I thought both those early ones were dead many, many moons ago, and I'm not sure John Pertwee is still alive. I know his son, I think his son is Sean Pertwee. He's an actor and continuing on, and for my money, Tom Baker was the best Doctor Who ever. Just saying. Shouldn't have brought up Doctor Who. Didn't know I was that much of a nerd. Actually, I'm not. That's I stopped watching probably not long after Tom Baker finished his time as Doctor Who. Rach, there will be a water standard, Rach, and I would have thought in your part of the world the water would be pretty clean. Um, Although Tassie does get dive bombed with chemtrails, there's nothing sure about that. Uh, hmm. There would be an Australian water standard. I would think that the standard would be the same nationally, but the states being who they are can probably make pretend laws and change things somewhat. So I would go to your local council website and look up water quality and baseline data or what is an acceptable parts per million. The only thing I can think that they might screw you around with is if you've got to say what you're going to be measuring in the water, maybe before they'll tell you how many of it is going to be bad for you. I hope it's not like that. So should be available on the state government website, I would have thought, and if not, certainly. Uh, how interesting. There'll have to be a water quality thing somewhere because you can get in trouble for buggering up the water quality in certainly in Tasmania, I would have thought. So, hmm. Um, is there a detox for PFAS? Uh, I want to say yes, there is. Dr. McCulloch might be the one. Dr. Robert McCulloch might be the one to go and check out for that. I am really scratching my memory banks at the moment. Yes, I think it is Dr. McCulloch, but don't hold me to that. Um, I'm sure, though, through his website you would find out where you can get more details on that. But good, 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 good. You got the right thing there, H. Detox, 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 and research it. Yeah, frequencies are another big one. Now, you can use frequencies to help your body detox. Now, what frequencies? Well, therein lies the question. But there are a number of different frequency machines available, including a Rife machine. Now, I know a couple of people who've used Rife machines. And some say yes, great effect. Some say no, no effect. I guess it's a bit like using an X39 patch. Sometimes they don't work for everybody, which is a bit unfortunate. Um, but by and large, the majority they work for. Now, I am so interested in frequencies because sound sound is just frequencies, and I've played around with speakers and put sand on speakers and played different frequencies through them, um, to get different patterns and all sorts of stuff. I love it. I should really film some of that one day and just show you some of the most amazing patterns that are drawn when you use frequencies. Now, some of the frequencies that we use are both above and below our natural hearing range, and they are some of the most interesting frequencies of all because they can pass through your body or they can shatter stones in your body, like kidney stones, that kind of thing. Um, there are frequency devices that it's claimed can allegedly shrink tumors and all sorts of other things that might ail you, so to speak. Uh, and then, of course, if you have a dis-ease, then your best bet would be to detox immediately because your dis-ease is not a virus, which viruses have never been proven to exist. They can't be isolated. They are a way for Big Pharma to scare people into taking a chemical into their body, which does all manner of strange and awful things. I watched or rather listened to a thing today where an American gentleman was fighting for the water rights in their particular county slash state, not to be poisoned with the fluoride that's being tipped into them. Now, this is something that's particularly pertinent to people in Cooktown who are getting fluoride pumped into them now for the first time, or are about to get it after the decision was made in Cairns to make that happen. All because a few dentists said, "Oh, yeah, it's not a bad idea." Well, it was found out that one of the active ingredients in the fluoride that's used, particularly in this Americans' experience, was allegedly arsenic. Now, it was put in a very minor dose, and when questioned about it, the authorities said, "Oh, it's so small, we can't measure it. Don't even bother talking about it. It's not to worry about." But as the fellow said, "I just want water in my water. I don't want chemicals. I certainly don't want arsenic." Now, if you lived and used that water supply, 1 in 17 people were going to get an activated cancer reaction from drinking the water. Now, I don't know if that was over a prolonged period of time or if it was just after, having a glass of water. I think over a prolonged exposure period. But it would only target people with a predisposition to having something wrong with them, uh, much like, you know, the Dan Andrews squirt. So be aware. It's been happening to us for a while. They've been engineering this for a while. Those of us, thank God, touch wood, that have not suffered too badly from this are resistant because we haven't had the big wire put into us, which is what they were doing with the jibbity jabs. They were essentially getting the aerial together and getting it into our bodies. And once in our bodies, it began self-assembling. Of course, in the case of AstraZeneca, it also got a bit aggressive in its self-assembly phase and thickened the blood of many, many people to a point where after they'd passed away, embalmers were finding it impossible to remove the blood from the bodies. And I noticed an Australian um funeral director or a lady who's working in a funeral home has come out and been talking about what she's seen. Huge increases in funerals, huge increases in deaths. And funerals is just an offshoot from that. The cost of a funeral, apparently now, through the roof. Why? The ground hasn't got any dearer. There hasn't been too much extra going on that would increase the cost. Well, maybe there has. There's all sorts of chemicals now that are required. Got to treat the body in a certain kind of way. There is a big push now for cremations. Why? So nobody can go back and look at the body on and exhume later. Should in a 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 year time frame, when the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth of what they've done to us starts to come out. They don't want us to be able to go back and dig up the evidence and have it examined and presented in a particularly a court that is run by the people, for the people, and of the people. Because those bastards are not going to live long once they face a court like that. I suspect it'll be a very, very bad day indeed. So, yes, all right. G'day, Harm. Saw you in there. Jinder Lee, happy birthday, Suze. Did I miss that? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. I guess it's Aussie Sue tomorrow. Happy birthday to you. I hope you have a great day. I hope you get many great things. Flowers being one of them. So, that'll be wonderful getting your son along. Yeah, very nice. Well, no doubt you'll rip the top off a cold one and celebrate, I hope, in a fine style. So happy birthday, Sue, as well. All right, so I think I've nearly caught up. I'm just rolling down through the chat. I've got a couple of things here to show you, but I don't have a great deal tonight. I particularly like that meme we kicked off with here tonight. If you're not aware of why that is such an important meme, you need to go back and watch the show we did the other night, last Friday, was it? When we played Marjorie Taylor Greene's attack on him and showed Fauci experimenting and murdering beagles. Thank you to Pete from Pinaroo. He sent me this picture today. Now, this is a quokka. This is a new silver ounce coin put out by the Perth Mint, complete with, have you noticed, chemtrails in the background. Are we serious? Chemtrails. I mean, that for all the money. That for all the money. I mean, just take a look at the wider view. I mean, they're just trying to normalize this shit everywhere, aren't they? I mean, it is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Hey, just between you, me, and the gay post, you might want to look at, if you have the opportunity, it's not advice, it's just something I would do if I had a bit of money. Go and buy some silver. $44, just over $44 is the spot price for silver at the moment at Ainsley Bullion. And don't forget, of course, that they have their brand spanking new, and I just love these, the Byron Bobs. Now, these are the 1/10 bob, okay? You can get them in a roll like that. But these are valued at, well, about 40, say between $4.50 and $5, I suppose, each one of these. Now, I'm going to get in touch with David and shoot down to Byron Bay and catch up, hopefully sooner rather than later, as the Byron Bay, well, there is a group in Byron Bay who've adopted the Ainsley round as the Byron Bay Bob, both the 1 ounce, the half ounce, and now the 1/10 of an ounce. They're using them in everyday trade all around Byron, and there is a bit of a desire for this to be set up in other places. I got a really interesting email, I think it was a couple of days ago, but I really only read it this morning from Hugh in Cobar, who alerted me to the fact that they've had something similar, uh, a token for Cobar that can be used locally, more as a sort of a tourism-y thing. But he did point out that with silver being what it is and Cobar very close to silver country, there is a chance that there will be a lot more silver coming out of the ground again shortly with a new silver mine opening in that area. And why wouldn't a Cobar token, a Cobar round, northwestern New South Wales round work? It would. It'd be a great thing, I would have thought. The problem, I guess, that you have when we're talking about particularly the quality of the things that Ainsley are putting together is the dye. The cost in developing a round is obviously the artwork that goes in, and you can see the detail that has gone into that tree of life. Now, this has all got to get transferred into a dye that then stamps these with enough force that makes it all beautiful. And I don't know, to be honest, how we're going to find out. We will see the process, but I'm going to find out how they get some bits shiny and some bits aren't. And yeah, it's a quite a process to go through. But I'm looking forward to finding out more about that. A bit of well, have a bit of news on that hopefully towards the end of the week. But if you want to get some of those, ainsleyBullion.com.au, mention Voice of Freedom or my name, and you'll get a bit of a discount. They are only little, remember, those ones. So don't go losing them, so to speak. But a fabulous get, and congratulations to the folks in Byron Bay. And I know there's a few folks up far north Queensland, Mareeba and Cooktown, who are interested in getting a few Byron bobs in their pocket and getting them trading up in far north Queensland as well. I have also heard news in South Australia that Pete and his mates over there are flying under the radar a bit, but they're already doing it, so to speak. Although they trade in silver ounces generally, because what they're doing is commercial work, and you obviously want to be able to make that money back. The round, nothing wrong with the round; it's still the same 1 ounce of silver. So I would say that the Byron Bay Bob, or the Byron Bob, or maybe just the Ainsley Bob, is a way forward. Something well worth thinking about. And with a tenth, makes it really easy to pay for a cup of coffee, maybe your lunch, flick a couple of them over for your lunch, and away you go. Looking forward to seeing how it works in Byron Bay when I get a hold of David and head down. Now, my plan was later this week to jump a plane and head to Cairns and then jump whatever I could, be it plane, automobile, bus, to Cooktown for the Discovery Festival that's happening there this weekend. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it. There's just been a lot going on in my life in the last couple of weeks. Some of it's personal, some of it's just, everyday stuff that we've got to get sorted with this, and trying to organise sponsorship and trying to arrange a few dollars come in. I had to go and get a haircut. Thank you to the folks who donated before the weekend. You enabled me to go and get a haircut. I really appreciate that. And I guess so do you guys, because I don't look like a wreck of the Hesperus quite as much. But I have a few things that I've got to do with the bus while it's down on the flat at the moment. Tomorrow being one of them with the awning. I also have to catch up with a couple of people. Thanks to my mate who was selling the Mustang, sold the Mustang, which is really great. Didn't sell it to us, unfortunately, but did sell it. So congratulations, well done. He's got another car that he is going to be selling. In fact, it's one he's only had for I think a year, a bit over a year, and he's just upgrading it. But it is, if you are an NDIS provider and you're working with people with wheelchairs and that kind of thing, or you're working with elderly people who find it hard to get into and out of a car chair or a van, then this vehicle that he's got coming up for sale might be something for you. Uh, it's got one of those swing out seats that come out of the interior, all electrically operated and whatnot. Very, very safe. Great little seat, actually. So he's had that because he has a daughter that requires that sort of aid, and they're just upgrading. That's the only deal with that. So if you have a vehicle or you need a vehicle that has one of these pretty schmick sort of chairs that allows you to swing in and out of the vehicle, uh, stand by. We'll have some pictures of it and a bit of news on it in the not too distant future. That is the hope. Okay, what else was I going to show you tonight? This is an interesting one. There is a bill going forward to eradicate the Federal Reserve. Now, Senator Mike Lee, who I think is a Republican, has introduced the bill, but it will not be heard for at least 3 weeks. So I don't know why that is the case, but if that law passes, it will be very, very interesting to see the effect that has on the markets, which I guess people are saying, what the hell's going on? What the hell's going on after the 9th has passed? The petrodollar um, is now defunct. So yes, it is. Yes, it has, and you can no longer buy oil from the Arabs using US dollars. You have to use gold. Uh, why are we not hearing too much about it at the moment? Well, because it's not in America's interests to have it blabbed all over the world that the US dollar is no longer the standard for buying oil, and it's on pretty shaky ground when it is, pardon me, the international trade standard. You know, the dollar we all trade in when we've got to go to Amazon and buy something. So it's on very, very shaky ground. It's being propped up. How? I don't know. I'm not a market specialist. I don't understand how that sort of stuff works. We know that they've been trying to flush the liquidity out of, the very, 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 very deepest, darkest pockets of the likes of Vanguard and BlackRock and others, State Street, uh, and so many of their companies that they own. They've all got, it's like a spider web within a spider web within 100 other spider webs. It's just horrendous, the depth that this eagle stretches to. So this could well be another way of trying to extract that liquidity, because the only way that they would be able to prop that up is by putting something of tangible, real value into it, whether that be their perceived real cash or they're actually putting real gold, real silver, and that sort of stuff into it. Eventually, that silver bubble has to pop, and we've seen it over the last couple of days, weeks, jumping up, dropping down, jumping up, dropping down. So if you're do short-term trading on gold and silver, which you can do, and you can do it through Ainsley. I want to say you could do it just simply by following the market yourself and keeping your gold slash and or silver in an Ainsley vault or as unallocated uh, and trade it. So when you see the price go up, you sell it and buy gold with that, and then watch the price of gold go go down, go up. When it jumps, you buy more silver and flip it, each time building wealth along the way. It's too difficult for me to follow, and you've really got to sit there all day and stare at a screen and watch, these two little lines crawl up, and it's all about predicting when it's going to drop and when it's going to jump. Well, it's just too much for me, but maybe it's something for you. And I know plenty of people that do this, and they trade in hundreds of kilos of silver. And when you're making $4 an ounce profit over and above what you would have done a day ago, and these are people who are just looking for quick money, looking to take it out of the market, sell their silver, and take the cash and go and do something else with it. I know what they do with it for the most part is buy gold. So there are other uses. There are other things. Oh, platinum too. They do buy a bit of platinum. I haven't had that opportunity, but I do get to see it, which is quite nice. I came across this video today. I haven't edited this in any way, shape, or form, so I don't know. It's probably going to get me kicked off. But I believe this is important, a very important video for you to watch. If you have grandchildren or you have small children, watch closely at the front when this thing starts to play. You'll find the gentleman, and you'll get a very quick replay of what happens. He is grabbing a small child and about to walk off with her. So just watch this and remember, when you are out in public, if you've got your grandchildren or your small children with you, you might be a target.
Watch again. This is absolutely terrifying.
So this happened to me. We were at Walmart. My daughter was in the cart. I reached down to pick something off a bottom shelf, let go of the cart, and all of a sudden the cart started pulling away from me quickly. I look up, see a gentleman pulling the cart down the aisle with my daughter inside. He started running, trying to get away with her. I immediately engaged him, took him to the ground, and made him wish that he had not done that. Walmart security police came, they arrested him. Turns out he had been following us for 5 or 10 minutes prior to this incident. Men, be strong fathers for your children. Be willing to do things that you may not want to do, but have to do. Our children are in danger, folks.
I couldn't agree more. Our children are very much in danger. And how easy is it for them to be stolen away from us? Now, we don't have a Walmart as such, but we got some pretty big Bunnings, Kmart's, big shopping centers. It takes just the shortest time for you not to have your eyes on them. And yeah, they walk away with the kid in the trolley. I'm horrified by that. Just horrified by it. I have another little video that I want to show you. It runs about 4 minutes long, and it's an animation, which I think there's something in this for all of us. So have a look at this.
Attention all citizens. Your district is contaminated and you will be evacuated immediately. Please take only necessary personal belongings and step outside of your homes. You will be transported to a safe, isolated location.
Attention. Non-compliant resident alert. Attention. Non-compliant resident alert. Attention. Non-compliant resident alert. Attention. Non-compliant resident alert. Attention. Non-compliant resident alert.
How many of you just saw yourselves? I think there's a lot of it coming our way, unfortunately. And I don't think that's too far from the truth if we don't get those unawake folks to stand up now. We need them to wake up. Yeah, Rosanna, what a good point. Disney wants to build here in Australia. Why? Because they want our kids. Yep, they've got access to the kids in Europe through Euro Disney's. They've obviously got both sides of the US covered. And the brazen, sexualized bullshit that they're now putting out and redoing when it comes to redoing Disney movies is, just beyond pathetic. All right, folks, I'm going to love you and leave you for tonight. Tomorrow will be an interesting day. Depending on where we wind up tomorrow afternoon, we might have a bit more of a show from a car park somewhere, or just off on the side of the road. Who knows? But there will be a show. I guess while I'm down on the flat, there's half a chance I might drive to Byron Bay yet. So we'll see what happens. Although Thursday I am meant to be popping into Ainslie. I want to pick up a couple of those Byron Bobs, the 1/10. So I was going to take them up to far north Queensland to show the guys and girls up there. But I'll take a couple down to Byron Bay instead and show them down there. So looking forward to catching up with Paul and the team in there on Thursday. And I guess that'll make it Thursday or Friday when I head down to Byron. So we'll wait and see what happens. Obviously, be a bit easier if I bring the bus, but I don't think there's too many nice places you're allowed to pull up in a bus in Byron Bay anymore and sleep, because all the backpackers have got them, from what I've heard, and they don't have their own toilet on board. Apparently, they just use the gutters. How nice Byron is! I can't wait to see all that. Suze, I hope you have a great birthday tomorrow and a big party this weekend when your son and extra family turn up. I hope it'll be lovely. We'll get to Byron Bay hopefully by the end of the week. I'm sorry to the folks in Cooktown and the Discovery Festival. However, it wasn't really the Discovery Festival that I'm interested in getting to. It's actually the history of Cooktown, and that week is probably not the best week, certainly not the easiest to get around town, particularly if you've got a buggered knee. Did I tell you that? I buggered my knee. It's all right. I've been putting my X39 patches on, wearing them on a daily basis, and seeing great improvement. I'm also wearing a thermoskin, which keeps it nice and warm, and I'm improving every day. I've got to say, those X39 patches, for me, I cannot begin to tell you how much relief I get from them. From my lower back, I broke my L1 vertebra many years ago. Not many years ago, I suppose it's now. I was filming a TV commercial for Humminbird Fish Finders. We were 22 nautical miles offshore, leapt a wave, jumped a wave, boat came down, I went up, boat came up on the next wave, bum came down. I was standing over a bait box, bum and boat met going in opposite directions, and my L1 vertebra was the one that gave out. L2 wasn't too flash either, but so that was a bit painful. 14 days in hospital, and and about 3 months on a walker, learning how to get back on again. So I get a bit of back pain. I've also had a roller door pull out of the wall completely and land top square dead center of my head while I was sitting on a motorbike about to ride off to work one morning. Thankfully, I had a motorcycle helmet on, but it crushed all the vertebrae in my neck. So, which I think is what in part is the problem I'm having here at the moment with so many tight muscles. So I'm struggling my way through those sorts of aches and pains. And then I remember I've got X39 patches. Idiot. So they make a huge difference. Yesterday afternoon, I couldn't turn my head like that. I mean, it's still pulling if I turn that way and that way, if I'm honest now, but it doesn't hurt, not nearly as much. My lower back, no pain in my lower back at all. And my knee, I sort of was wearing bad shoes. I've only got one decent pair of runners, if you like. And they're the ones that my daughter bought me, and they're red. So you can imagine how nice and happy I am about wearing those. But I had to actually wear them the day before yesterday, simply because my knee was just not playing the game, and it was because I wasn't wearing well-supported shoes, I think. So bit of luck, that'll be sorting itself out over the next day or two with my X39s and move on regardless. You can see the link there if you want to try X39 for yourself. There have been some amazing stories come into me, and if you want to tell me yours, I would love to hear it. Carl@vofhq.com. I love hearing the success stories of these patches, and there are so many people who have had such wonderful success, including my mate Carol, who's just got back from a trip from Bali, and they had an absolute ball over there, she and John. So God love the both of you. Enough of the outdoor shower photos. I think that's. But I have no doubt Carol wouldn't have been wriggling and dancing and woggling away around Bali without the aid of the X39s. So I think that's just tremendous news. Then there are the ones that unfortunately it doesn't happen for, and well, what can I say? Life shit sometimes, and I really do feel that. But hopefully it will work for you. So that's where you can get them, lifewave.com/VOF/enrollments/packs, and a little bit from what you purchase, I think it's about $12, comes to us. So thank you very much for that. If you would choose to support us in that way, they are very, very, very good. My physio, Murray. Yes. And that's what these runners are. They're Nike runners, right? They're really nice, really good runners. However, they're bloody red. And you know what red shoes are. So I have this plan to reclaim red shoes by putting blue laces in them. Does that work? Would I get hung out to dry for still wearing red shoes if they had blue laces in them? Why can't I reclaim red shoes for good? Why do we have to be targeted? I mean, it's not like they're the leather ones, like the patent leather ones, like the bloody Pope wears. But Suze, I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit confused here. Get free camping at Paper Shop. They're awesome. Is that a magazine? Free camping magazine? I actually have an app, a free camp app, which is pretty good too. Unfortunately, the 3 or 4 times I've gone to use it, it seems like everybody else has got the same app and they've all got there before me because it's very difficult. And this is what I found. Here's the other thing about free camping. I've found it difficult to pull up with the bus and find out whether or not there's anywhere for me to fit. It's not something that you can just sort of swing in and say, oh, no, I'm not going to fit here, and then drive out again, because more often than not, there isn't anywhere for you to actually turn around, and you're backing out onto a highway or, something reasonably unforgiving. So that has been my probably 4, maybe a few more experiences with free camping on the side of the road at the free camps that I have seen. There's more of them up north. I haven't been up north yet, but I can think of one up on the Boyne River towards Gin or between Gin and Mount Larkham. There's a free camp up there somewhere. It might be on the edge of Gin now that I think about it. Might be a bit further back too. At any rate, there is a number of them floating along. Well, not floating. They're just parked up on the side of rivers generally until you get to Rockhampton. Then north of Rockhampton, nobody parks beside a river because that's where the crocodiles live. They do tend to park in big truck car parks and whatnot. That hasn't gone down well in certain places. And I would advise you, if you are in a truck, pardon me, if you're in a truck parking area and you're in a little car towing a trailer, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Do not park in truck areas unless you are a heavy vehicle. Those blokes have schedules to run, and they can only sleep when they can sleep. Boo. Still there? Don't know what the hell happened there. Everything shut down. So, my apologies. Weirdest thing. Phone died. Modem died. Computer turned itself into a black screen. When I tried to start playing that animation, which I hope you got to see. Yeah, weird. Anyway, I think most of you have probably given up by now. Interesting. We've had 2 breakdowns on different channels. So, been removed. One from Facebook and Project Matilda. So, a few issues there. All right. I don't know what happened, Mike. Weird as. When I played that animation, my computer screen went completely black and then started rebuilding itself in small squares. And then it would not allow me to reload the window. It had frozen the showtime and everything else. It would show me certain parts of the top of the browser, but not all of it. Certain parts of the window and not all of it. So very, very, very strange. Mobile phone turned itself off, and the modem shit itself. I haven't got Starlink working tonight, so otherwise it would have automatically. I've got them now basically set up so that they almost switch automatically if one goes down. But I haven't got Starlink with me tonight. So unfortunately, but interestingly, both the Telstra systems shut down at exactly the same time, and this computer did some real weird shit. So I scared you with the boo, JJ. Sorry about that. Well, I couldn't leave you without the usual things that we leave you with on at the end of a show. So I will bid you a farewell and adieu until tomorrow, where if I get the opportunity, I will show you just how exciting it can be to have an awning replaced. Although it may not be terribly exciting at all, it just might be long and involved. However, whatever it's going to be doing, it'll be done after I've had to negotiate my way through peak hour with a whole bunch of dickheads on the road. Steer clear of them, folks. Have a good day. Talk tomorrow.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!